In the early 17th century, a sense of unease settled upon the picturesque Lancashire countryside, like a thin veil of mist that clings to the rolling hills and verdant valleys. It was a time of great superstition, when the boundaries between good and evil were clearly defined, and the fear of the unknown hung in the air like the sweet scent of blooming heather. The people of Lancashire lived simple lives, tilling the land, tending to their livestock, and relying on the whims of nature to ensure a bountiful harvest. Yet, amidst this peaceful landscape, a series of dramatic events unfolded, culminating in the trial and execution of 12 individuals accused of witchcraft. The story of the Pendle Witches is a complex tapestry of fact and fiction, woven from threads of hearsay, folklore, and circumstance. As we delve into this fascinating tale, the lines between reality and myth begin to blur, much like the eerie moors that provide a haunting backdrop to the proceedings. The moors, with their rugged beauty and unforgiving climate, have long been a place of mystery and enchantment, where the veil between the worlds is at its thinnest. It is here, amidst the windswept hills and valleys, that the Pendle Witches lived and breathed, their lives a testament to the enduring power of folklore and superstition. As we make our way through the rolling hills and picturesque villages of Lancashire, the sound of rustling leaves and chirping birds fills the air, punctuated by the occasional bleat of a sheep or the clucking of a hen. The thatched roofs of the cottages blend seamlessly into the landscape, giving the impression that they have grown organically from the earth itself. The air is crisp and clean, with a hint of peat smoke carried on the breeze, a reminder of the warmth and comfort that awaits within the humble dwellings. It is a peaceful scene, one that belies the darkness and fear that lurked beneath the surface of this seemingly idyllic world. In the early 17th century, the village of Pendle was a small, close-knit community, where everyone knew each other's business and the local gossip was a staple of daily life. The villagers were a hardy bunch, accustomed to the harsh realities of rural life, where the struggle to survive was a constant battle against the elements. They lived in a world of stark contrasts, where the beauty of the natural world was tempered by the ever-present threat of poverty, disease, and death. It was a world of simple pleasures, where a warm hearth, a hearty meal, and the company of loved ones were the greatest joys in life. At the heart of the Pendle community were the Demdike and Chattox families, two rival clans who had lived in the area for generations. The Demdikes were a family of modest means, living in a small cottage on the edge of the village. They were a reclusive bunch, preferring to keep to themselves, and were often viewed with suspicion by their neighbors. The Chattoxes, on the other hand, were a more outgoing family, who lived in a slightly larger cottage on the other side of the village. They were a family of cunning folk, known for their knowledge of herbs and medicine, and were often called upon to help with ailments and injuries. As the years passed, the rivalry between the Demdikes and Chattoxes grew, fueled by a series of petty squabbles and disputes. The tension between the two families was palpable, and it was not long before the whispers of witchcraft began to circulate. It started with small, seemingly insignificant events, a missed opportunity, a failed harvest, or a sick animal. But as the whispers grew louder, they began to take on a life of their own, until it seemed that the very fabric of the community was under threat. The fear of witchcraft was a powerful force in 17th-century Lancashire, where the superstitions of the past lingered on, like the ghosts of a bygone era. The people of Pendle were a devout bunch, who attended church regularly, and believed in the power of prayer and the authority of the Bible. Yet, despite their strong Christian faith, they were not immune to the temptation of superstition, and the belief in witches and witchcraft was a common one. The idea that there were individuals among them, who could harness the power of the devil, and wield it for their own nefarious purposes, was a terrifying one, and it was not long before the accusations began to fly. The accusations against the Pendle Witches were not unique, for this was a time when the fear of witchcraft was at its height, and the witch hunts were a common occurrence. Yet, the story of the Pendle Witches is a remarkable one, a testament to the enduring power of folklore and superstition. As we delve deeper into the story, we will encounter a cast of characters, each with their own motivations and desires, who will lead us on a journey through the dark and troubled world of 17th-century Lancashire. We will meet the victims, the accused, and the accusers, each with their own role to play in the tragedy that unfolded. And as we make our way through the twists and turns of the narrative, we will begin to uncover the complex web of circumstances that led to the trial and execution of the Pendle Witches. The story of the Pendle Witches is a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of superstition and fear. It is a story that has been passed down through the generations, a reminder of the importance of tolerance and understanding. As we sit by the fire, listening to the wind howl outside, we are reminded of the power of the human imagination, and the enduring appeal of a good story. The Pendle Witches may be a thing of the past, but their legend lives on, a testament to the enduring power of folklore and superstition. And as we gaze into the flames, we are transported to a world of wonder and magic, where the boundaries between reality and myth are blurred, and the impossible becomes possible. In this world of wonder, the Pendle Witches come alive, their stories and legends weaving a spell of enchantment that is hard to resist. We are drawn into a world of mystery and intrigue, where the unknown is waiting around every corner, and the unexpected is always just out of sight. It is a world of shadows and darkness, where the moon casts an eerie glow, and the wind whispers secrets in our ear. And as we wander through this mystical landscape, we begin to understand the power of the human imagination, and the enduring appeal of a good story. As the night wears on, and the fire burns low, we are left to ponder the mysteries of the Pendle Witches. We are left to wonder about the truth behind the legends, and the circumstances that led to the trial and execution of 12 innocent people. We are left to consider the role of superstition and fear in shaping the course of human events, and the dangers of unchecked power and ambition. And as we drift off to sleep, lulled by the sound of the wind and the crackle of the flames, we are reminded of the enduring power of folklore and superstition, and the importance of understanding the past, in order to build a better future. As we delve deeper into the tale of the Pendle Witches, our journey takes us to the rugged and enchanting landscape of Pendle Hill, a place where the veil between reality and myth seems to be at its most delicate. Located in the heart of Lancashire, this majestic hill has been a silent witness to the unfolding of history, its rolling hills and mist-shrouded moors whispering secrets to those who venture into its mystical realm. It is here, amidst the atmospheric landscape, that the Pendle Witches lived and practiced their craft, their lives inextricably linked with the land and its rhythms. As we ascend to the summit of Pendle Hill, the breathtaking panorama that unfolds before our eyes is nothing short of awe-inspiring. The patchwork fields and villages below seem to stretch on forever, a testament to the enduring power of nature. The gentle rustle of the wind through the grass and heather, the soft chirping of birds, and the distant rumble of the river Calder all blend together in a symphony of sounds that transport us to a bygone era. On a clear day, the majestic peaks of the Pennines rise up in the distance, their rugged beauty a reminder of the wild and untamed power of the natural world. The Pendle Hill area is a place of immense historical significance, its landscape shaped by the passage of time and the interactions of the people who have lived and worked upon it. The hill itself is a notable landmark, its distinctive shape and commanding presence making it a beacon that draws the eye and inspires the imagination. According to local legend, the hill was once the site of a great stone circle, a place where ancient druids would gather to perform their sacred rites and ceremonies. While the stone circle itself has long since vanished, the sense of mystique and wonder that surrounds the hill remains, a potent reminder of the deep and abiding connection that exists between the land and its people. As we explore the Pendle Hill area, we begin to uncover the rich tapestry of history and folklore that underlies this enchanting landscape. The hill and its surrounding moors have been home to a diverse range of flora and fauna, from the towering oak and ash trees that line the valley floors to the humble cotton grass and bilberry that thrive in the acidic soils of the uplands. The landscape is dotted with ancient monuments and archaeological sites, each one a testament to the enduring presence of human activity in this beautiful and unforgiving environment. From the Bronze Age burial cairns that crown the hilltops to the medieval packhorse trails that crisscross the moors, every aspect of the Pendle Hill landscape seems to whisper stories of a forgotten past. For the Pendle Witches, the landscape was not just a backdrop for their lives, but an integral part of their daily existence. They lived and worked in close harmony with the land, their agricultural practices and domestic routines dictated by the rhythms of nature. The witches would rise with the sun, their days filled with the mundane tasks of tending to their gardens, collecting firewood, and mending their homes. They would work the land with a deep understanding of the natural world, their knowledge of the soil, the weather, and the habits of the local wildlife honed through generations of observation and practice. As the seasons changed, so too would the rhythms of the witches' lives. In the spring, they would welcome the return of the sun and the new life that it brought, their homes filled with the sweet scent of fresh herbs and the sound of birdsong. Summer would bring long, warm days filled with the hard work of tending to the crops and tending to the animals, the witches' hands moving deftly as they wove their spells and incantations into the fabric of their daily lives. Autumn would bring the harvest, a time of plenty and celebration, as the witches would gather in the fruits of their labor and prepare for the long, dark winter ahead. And in the winter, they would huddle together, their homes filled with the warm glow of candlelight and the comforting sounds of storytelling and music, their spirits buoyed by the knowledge that the cycle of the seasons would soon begin anew. In this beautiful and atmospheric landscape, the Pendle Witches lived and practiced their craft, their lives a testament to the enduring power of nature and the human spirit. As we explore the Pendle Hill area, we begin to uncover the intricate web of relationships that bound the witches to the land and to each other, a web of relationships that would ultimately lead to their downfall. But for now, let us simply bask in the beauty and wonder of this enchanting landscape, allowing ourselves to become immersed in the mystical and dreamlike world of the Pendle Witches. As the sun begins to set, casting a golden glow over the hills and moors, we cannot help but feel a sense of awe and reverence for this special place, a place where the boundaries between reality and myth seem to blur and the imagination knows no bounds. As we wander through the rolling hills and verdant valleys of Pendle, our footsteps quiet on the rustic lanes, the whispers of a bygone era begin to stir. The landscape, with its rugged beauty, has borne witness to the lives and tales of the people who have called this place home for centuries. And at the very heart of the Pendle Witches' story lies the Demdike Family, a clan of cunning women and healers whose reputation would eventually become intertwined with the darkest of suspicions. In the early years of the 17th century, the Demdikes were a respected family in the community, with a long history of living in the area. Their home, a humble cottage nestled in the shadow of Pendle Hill, was a place of warmth and welcome, where the scent of simmering herbs and baking bread wafted from the doorway to entice the senses. Elizabeth Demdike, the matriarch of the family, was a woman of great knowledge and wisdom, revered by her neighbors for her deep understanding of the natural world. Her years of experience in gathering and preparing medicinal herbs had earned her the title of Mother Demdike, a term of endearment and respect that reflected her status as a healer and a wise woman. As we imagine Mother Demdike moving through the countryside, her feet carrying her along the winding paths and tracks that crisscross the landscape, we can almost see her stopping to gather a handful of wild thyme or rosemary, her fingers deftly plucking the leaves from the stem as she murmurs a quiet incantation. The air would be filled with the sweet scent of blooming heather, and the warm sunshine would cast a gentle glow over the rolling hills, as if the very land itself was infused with a deep and abiding magic. The Demdike family's home, with its thatched roof and smoke drifting lazily from the chimney, was a place of comfort and tranquility, where the sounds of laughter and conversation mingled with the clucking of chickens and the lowing of cattle in the nearby fields. It was a place where the rhythms of rural life were woven into the very fabric of existence, where the cycles of nature were celebrated and respected. And at the center of it all was Mother Demdike, her eyes twinkling with a deep and ancient wisdom, as she tended to her family and her community with a love and a devotion that was palpable. As the years passed, however, the Demdike family's reputation began to darken, like the gathering shadows that creep across the landscape as the sun dips below the horizon. Whispers of witchcraft and malevolence started to spread throughout the neighborhood, fueled by the suspicions and fears of those who did not understand the old ways and the ancient traditions that the Demdikes represented. It was a time of great turmoil and upheaval, as the old certainties of the medieval world were giving way to the new and unfamiliar landscape of the modern era. The Reformation, with its strictures and its prohibitions, had cast a long shadow over the countryside, and the old pagan practices that had been woven into the fabric of rural life for centuries were now viewed with suspicion and distrust. The Demdikes, with their knowledge of herbs and their healing traditions, were seen as outsiders, their ways and customs perceived as threatening and subversive. And as the whispers and the accusations grew, the family found themselves increasingly isolated and alone, their reputation tarnished by the very fears and superstitions that they had once helped to alleviate. Despite this, Mother Demdike remained a figure of great respect and authority, her wisdom and her knowledge still sought after by those who lived in the surrounding villages and hamlets. Her granddaughter, Alison, would often accompany her on her journeys through the countryside, learning the old ways and the ancient traditions that had been passed down through generations of Demdike women. Together, they would walk the winding paths and tracks, gathering herbs and plants, and sharing stories and secrets that had been hidden away for centuries. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the landscape, Mother Demdike and Alison would return to their cottage, the scent of wood smoke and baking bread wafting from the doorway to greet them. The fire would be burning brightly, casting a warm and welcoming light over the room, and the sound of laughter and conversation would fill the air, as the Demdike family gathered together to share stories and news of the day. It was a time of great warmth and camaraderie, a time when the old traditions and the ancient ways were still alive and vibrant, and the Demdike family was at the very heart of it all. But as the night wore on, and the shadows deepened, the whispers and the accusations would begin to stir once more, fueled by the fears and the superstitions that had been growing in the neighborhood. The Demdikes, with their knowledge of herbs and their healing traditions, were seen as a threat, a reminder of the old ways and the ancient practices that were being suppressed by the authorities. And as the darkness gathered, the family would huddle together, their hearts filled with a sense of foreboding and unease, as they wondered what the future might hold for them. In the stillness of the night, as the wind rustled through the trees and the stars twinkled like diamonds in the sky, the Demdike family would listen to the sounds of the countryside, the hooting of owls and the distant howling of wolves, and they would know that they were not alone. The landscape itself seemed to be alive, the ancient magic that had once flowed through the land still pulsing with a gentle, otherworldly energy. And in this mystical world, the Demdikes were not just a family, but a part of the very fabric of the landscape, their stories and their traditions woven into the ancient tapestry of the Pendle Hills. As we pause, and listen to the silence, we can almost hear the whispers of the past, the echoes of a long-forgotten era, when the Demdike family was at the heart of a thriving community, their wisdom and their knowledge respected and revered. And though the years have passed, and the world has changed, the memory of the Demdikes lives on, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, and the deep and abiding connection that we all share with the natural world. The story of the Demdike family is a reminder that, even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, always a glimmer of light to guide us through the shadows, and always a sense of wonder and awe to inspire us on our journey through the world. As we wander through the rugged landscape of Pendle Hill, the whispers of a centuries-old feud begin to echo through the misty valleys and heather-covered moors. It is a tale of two families, bound together by a tangled web of rivalry and resentment, their lives inextricably linked by the threads of fate. The Demdikes, as we have previously explored, were a family of cunning women, revered and feared in equal measure by the local community. However, they were not alone in their claims to mystical power and ancient wisdom. The Chattox family, another household of formidable women, lived in the vicinity, their presence a constant thorn in the side of the Demdikes. The matriarch of the Chattox family, and Chattox, was a woman of unyielding determination and unwavering conviction. Her eyes, said to burn with an inner fire, seemed to bore into the souls of those she encountered, as if searching for any sign of weakness or deceit. Her voice, low and husky, could charm the birds from the trees, or strike fear into the hearts of her enemies. And Chattox was a force to be reckoned with, and her family's reputation as cunning women was built upon the foundations of her unyielding spirit. The Chattox family lived in a small cottage, nestled in a secluded valley, surrounded by towering trees that seemed to lean in, as if to listen to the whispers of the family's secrets. The thatched roof, a deep golden brown, blended seamlessly into the landscape, giving the impression that the cottage had grown organically from the earth itself. A tendril of smoke curled lazily from the chimney, carrying the scent of burning peat and baking bread into the crisp air. It was a peaceful scene, one that belied the turmoil and tension that simmered beneath the surface of the family's relationships. As we step inside the cottage, the warmth and comfort of the fire pit envelopes us, casting a golden glow over the simple, yet practical, furnishings. The air is thick with the smells of cooking and herbalism, the scent of dried herbs and simmering stews mingling with the sweetness of freshly baked bread. And Chattox moves with a quiet confidence, her hands moving deftly as she prepares a potion, the ingredients carefully selected from the family's garden. The sound of her stirring the concoction, the gentle clinking of the spoon against the side of the cauldron, is soothing, a reminder of the gentle, nurturing side of the cunning woman. However, beneath the surface of this peaceful domestic scene, a cauldron of resentment and anger seethed and bubbled. The Chattox family and the Demdikes had a long and complex history, their relationship a tangled web of alliances and rivalries. The two families had, at one time, been close, their women sharing knowledge and secrets, their men working together to eke out a living from the harsh, yet beautiful, landscape. However, over the years, a rift had grown, fueled by petty squabbles and jealousies. The Demdikes, with their reputation for wisdom and power, had become the dominant force in the area, and the Chattox family had grown increasingly resentful of their position. And Chattox, in particular, harbored a deep-seated grudge against the Demdikes, her anger and resentment simmering just below the surface. Her eyes would flash with fury at the mere mention of the family's name, and her voice would drop to a menacing whisper as she spoke of their supposed wrongdoings. The tension between the two families was palpable, a living, breathing entity that seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the air grew thick with anticipation, the sense of impending doom hanging over the landscape like a dark and foreboding cloud. The rivalry between the Chattox family and the Demdikes was not merely a matter of petty jealousy or one-upmanship. It was a clash of ideologies, a conflict between two fundamentally different approaches to the craft of cunning. The Demdikes, with their emphasis on wisdom and knowledge, saw themselves as the guardians of a long and noble tradition. They believed in the power of the ancient lore, and the importance of respecting the old ways. The Chattox family, on the other hand, were more pragmatic, their approach to the craft rooted in a deep understanding of the natural world, and the secrets that it held. As the feud between the two families escalated, the seeds of discord were sown, and the stage was set for a tragic confrontation. The Chattox family, with their resentment and anger, had become a powder keg, waiting to be ignited by the slightest spark. The Demdikes, with their reputation and their pride, were a constant reminder of the Chattox family's perceived inferiority, a nagging voice that whispered in their ears, telling them that they would never be good enough. The tension between the two families was a living, breathing thing, a creature that grew and fed on their emotions, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. In the midst of this swirling vortex of tension and resentment, the Pendle Witches moved, their lives a complex web of alliances and rivalries. The landscape itself seemed to be alive, the trees whispering secrets to the wind, the stones holding the memories of centuries past. The air was thick with the scent of magic, the smell of simmering potions and burning herbs hanging heavy over the moors. It was a time of great change and upheaval, the old ways being slowly erased by the encroaching forces of modernity. The Pendle Witches, with their ancient traditions and their mystical powers, were a reminder of a bygone era, a time when the world was a more mysterious and wondrous place. As we wander through the landscape, the shadows cast by the trees seem to grow longer and darker, as if the very spirits of the land are stirring, awakened by the turmoil that is to come. The wind whispers secrets in our ears, the sound of distant laughter and tears carrying on the breeze. The Pendle Witches, with their stories and their secrets, are a part of this landscape, their lives inextricably linked to the rhythms of the earth. And as we delve deeper into their world, we begin to uncover the threads of a tragic tale, a story of love and loss, of magic and myth, that would ultimately lead to the downfall of the Pendle Witches, and the destruction of a way of life that had existed for centuries. As we delve deeper into the mystical world of the Pendle Witches, our journey takes us to the heart of the moors, where the veil between reality and myth begins to blur. It is here, amidst the rugged landscape of Lancashire, that the witches of Pendle Hill were said to convene in secret, their gatherings shrouded in an aura of mystery and intrigue. These enigmatic meetings, known as sabbats, have become an integral part of the Pendle Witches' legend, with tales of strange rituals, incantations, and devil worship captivating the imagination of generations to come. As the sun sets over the moors, casting a warm orange glow over the heather-covered hills, the landscape transforms into a realm of enchantment. The air is filled with the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers, and the soft rustle of leaves whispers secrets to the wind. It is here, in this breathtakingly beautiful yet unforgiving environment, that the Pendle Witches were said to gather, their presence woven into the very fabric of the landscape. The locals believe that these secret meetings took place at various locations throughout the moors, each one chosen for its unique energy and mystical properties. One such location was a place known as Malkin Tower, the crumbling remains of a medieval ruin that stood like a sentinel on the windswept moors. This ancient stronghold, with its weathered stone walls and overgrown with ivy, was said to be the residence of the infamous Demdike family, whose matriarch, Elizabeth Southerns, was believed to be the ringleader of the Pendle Witches. As the moon rises high in the night sky, casting an eerie silver glow over the landscape, the ruins of Malkin Tower seem to come alive, its stones whispering tales of a long-forgotten era. It is said that on certain nights, when the stars aligned in propitious conjunction, the witches would gather at Malkin Tower, their lanterns flickering like fireflies as they made their way across the moors. The sound of laughter and conversation would carry on the wind, mingling with the howling of wolves and the hooting of owls, creating an otherworldly atmosphere that sent shivers down the spines of the local population. As the night wore on, the gatherings would become more intense, with the witches engaging in rituals and incantations that were said to summon the devil himself. The details of these sabbats remain shrouded in mystery, with many of the accounts coming from the trial transcripts of the accused witches. According to these testimonies, the gatherings would often involve feasting, singing, and dancing, with the witches donning their finest clothes and adornments. The air would be filled with the scent of herbs and spices, and the sound of music would drift across the moors, creating a sense of enchantment and wonder. However, as the night wore on, the tone would shift, with the witches engaging in darker rituals and incantations, their voices rising to a frenzied crescendo as they invoked the powers of the unknown. As we sit here, surrounded by the silence of the moors, it is difficult not to become entranced by the mystique of these secret gatherings. The Pendle Witches, with their enigmatic presence and whispered incantations, seem to embody the very essence of the moors, their spirit woven into the fabric of the landscape like the threads of a rich tapestry. And yet, as we delve deeper into the legend, we begin to realize that the truth behind these sabbats remains elusive, lost in a tangle of myth and folklore. The accounts of the witches' meetings, as recorded in the trial transcripts, are often wildly exaggerated, with tales of demonic possessions and supernatural occurrences that strain the boundaries of credulity. The witches, it seems, were not just mere mortals, but rather vessels for dark and malevolent forces that threatened the very fabric of society. However, as we examine the evidence more closely, we begin to uncover a more nuanced narrative, one that reveals the complex social and cultural dynamics at play in early 17th century Lancashire. The Pendle Witches, it seems, were not just a group of isolated individuals, but rather a community bound together by ties of family, friendship, and shared experience. Their gatherings, whether at Malkin Tower or other secret locations, were an integral part of their social fabric, providing a sense of belonging and identity in a world that was often hostile and unforgiving. The rituals and incantations, far from being mere superstition, were an expression of their deep connection to the land, their ancestors, and the natural world. As the night wears on, and the stars twinkle like diamonds in the sky, we are left to ponder the extent to which fact and fiction have become intertwined in the legend of the Pendle Witches. The truth, it seems, lies hidden in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered by those who are willing to listen to the whispers of the past. And so, as we sit here, surrounded by the silence of the moors, we are invited to embark on a journey of discovery, one that will take us deep into the heart of the Pendle Witches' world, and reveal the secrets that lie hidden beneath the surface of this mystical and enchanting landscape. In the midst of a Lancashire summer, as the sun began to set over the rolling hills and verdant forests of the Pendle region, a sense of unease settled over the local community. It was the year 1612, and the whispers of witchcraft that had long been a feature of the area's folklore had grown to a deafening crescendo. At the center of this maelstrom was Roger Nowell, a local magistrate driven by a fierce determination to root out the evil that he believed was festering in the heart of his community. As Nowell began his investigation, the air was heavy with anticipation, the very atmosphere seeming to vibrate with the promise of revelation. The villagers, many of whom had long been suspicious of their neighbors, were eager to come forward with their tales of strange occurrences and unexplained events. Nowell, a man of strong convictions and unshakable resolve, was the perfect catalyst for this process, his zealous enthusiasm drawing out the stories and testimony that would ultimately seal the fate of the accused witches. The village of Pendle, nestled in the heart of the lush Lancashire countryside, was a place of rugged beauty, where the rhythms of rural life had remained largely unchanged for generations. The thatched roofs of the cottages seemed to blend seamlessly into the landscape, as if grown from the very earth itself. The sound of birdsong and the gentle lowing of cattle filled the air, a soothing background hum that belied the tensions simmering just beneath the surface. It was here, in this peaceful setting, that the seeds of suspicion and mistrust had been sown, waiting only for the right combination of circumstances to bring them to fruition. As Nowell set about gathering evidence, he was met with a veritable torrent of accusations, each one more outlandish and fantastical than the last. The local residents, it seemed, were only too eager to point the finger at their neighbors, to whisper tales of curses and hexes, of strange creatures and unexplained occurrences. The Demdike family, in particular, were the focus of much attention, their long history of supposed witchcraft and sorcery making them an obvious target for Nowell's investigation. The elderly matriarch, Elizabeth Demdike, was a woman of considerable notoriety, her reputation as a healer and a wise woman having long been suspect in the eyes of the local community. Her granddaughter, Alison, was also a figure of some interest, her alleged involvement in a series of strange and unexplained events having earned her a reputation as a young woman of dubious character. As Nowell's inquiry gained momentum, it became increasingly clear that the Demdikes, along with their associates, the Chattox family, would be at the very center of the witchcraft allegations. The Chattox family, with their own history of supposed wrongdoing, were a natural target for Nowell's investigation. The family's patriarch, Robert Chattox, was a man of some standing in the community, his position as a farmer and a landowner having earned him a measure of respect and authority. However, his wife, Elizabeth, was a different matter altogether, her reputation as a witch and a sorceress having been long established in the eyes of the local residents. As the investigation continued, it became clear that the Chattox family, like the Demdikes, would be at the very forefront of the witchcraft allegations. As the days turned into weeks, the atmosphere in Pendle grew increasingly tense, the sense of unease and suspicion that had long been simmering beneath the surface now threatening to boil over into outright hysteria. The accused witches, once respected members of the community, found themselves facing an increasingly hostile and unforgiving environment, their every move and action subject to scrutiny and suspicion. The village, once a place of peaceful coexistence, had been transformed into a hotbed of rumor and mistrust, where the merest whisper of witchcraft could be enough to condemn an individual to a life of ostracism and persecution. In this febrile atmosphere, Nowell's investigation continued apace, the magistrate driven by a fierce determination to uncover the truth behind the witchcraft allegations. As he delved deeper into the mystery, he began to uncover a complex web of alliances and rivalries, of long-standing grudges and simmering resentments. The picture that emerged was one of a community torn apart by fear and mistrust, where the lines between reality and fantasy had become increasingly blurred. The villagers, once bound together by a shared sense of community and tradition, were now pitted against one another, their mutual suspicion and distrust threatening to tear the very fabric of their society apart. The witches, once a tolerated and even revered part of the community, had become the focal point for all the fears and anxieties of the local residents, their supposed evil deeds and malevolent intentions providing a convenient explanation for the troubles and hardships that had long plagued the area. As the investigation drew to a close, the stage was set for a dramatic and tragic confrontation, one that would have far-reaching consequences for the accused witches and the community as a whole. The fate of the Pendle Witches, once a matter of local gossip and speculation, had now become a matter of national importance, their supposed wrongdoing threatening to undermine the very foundations of the established order. As the darkness gathered, it seemed clear that the witches of Pendle would soon be facing the full force of the law, their lives hanging precariously in the balance as the wheels of justice ground slowly and inexorably towards their conclusion. As we meander through the rolling hills and picturesque villages of Lancashire, our journey brings us to the imposing fortress of Lancaster Castle, a sturdy sentinel that has stood watch over the county for centuries. It was within these ancient stone walls that the trial of the Pendle Witches took place, a dramatic and intense affair that would determine the fate of the accused. The summer of 1612 had been a season of great unrest, with the whispers of witchcraft and dark magic hanging in the air like a malignant mist. The castle, with its sturdy keep and crenellated battlements, was an imposing structure, its stone facade bearing the scars of countless battles and sieges. As we approach the entrance, the heavy wooden gates creak in the gentle breeze, their iron hinges groaning in protest. The sound echoes through the stillness, a haunting reminder of the weight of history that hangs in the air. We step across the threshold, our footsteps echoing off the cold stone flags, and make our way to the great hall where the trial is to take place. The room is a grand, high-ceilinged chamber, its walls adorned with the coats of arms of the noble families who have held sway over the county for generations. The air is thick with the scent of wood smoke and candle wax, the flickering flames casting eerie shadows on the walls as the participants gather to hear the evidence against the accused. At the center of the room, the judge's bench stands like a throne, its occupant, Sir Edward Bromley, a stern and unyielding figure, his eyes piercing as he surveys the assembly before him. The accused witches, a ragtag group of women and men, stand huddled together in the dock, their faces etched with worry and fear. There is Anne Whittle, the matriarch of the Chattox family, her eyes flashing with defiance as she faces her accusers. Beside her stands her daughter, Anne Redfern, a quiet, reserved woman, her eyes cast downward in a mixture of shame and fear. The other accused, a diverse group of individuals from across the Pendle region, stand alongside them, their faces a testament to the terror that grips their hearts. As the trial commences, the prosecution, led by the zealous Roger Nowell, presents its case against the accused. The evidence, a tangled web of hearsay and superstition, is laid before the court, each thread carefully woven to entrap the witches in a noose of guilt. Nowell, his voice rising and falling with the passion of his conviction, paints a vivid picture of the witches' alleged crimes, from the cursing of cattle to the bewitching of innocent children. The court listens with rapt attention, the atmosphere growing increasingly tense as the accusations mount. The examination of the accused begins, each witch facing a barrage of questions designed to trip them up and reveal their supposed guilt. Anne Whittle, a fiery and determined woman, stands tall in the face of her accusers, her answers laced with a mixture of defiance and cunning. Her daughter, Anne Redfern, is more reticent, her words hesitant and unsure, as if she is torn between telling the truth and hiding her supposed guilt. The other accused follow, each facing the same withering scrutiny, their words and actions examined and re-examined in a search for the slightest hint of guilt. As the trial progresses, the evidence mounts, each new revelation adding to the weight of guilt that hangs over the accused. The court is treated to a litany of stories, each one more outlandish and sensational than the last, of ghostly apparitions and demonic possession, of curses and hexes, of the witches' supposed dealings with the devil himself. The atmosphere in the court grows increasingly charged, the air thickening with tension as the prosecution weaves its web of deceit and misconception. The examination of the witnesses is a crucial part of the trial, each testimony adding to the growing body of evidence against the accused. The witnesses, a diverse group of individuals, from farmers and laborers to the local gentry, take their turn to speak, their words painting a vivid picture of the witches' alleged crimes. Some speak of the witches' supposed cursing of their livestock, of the strange and unexplained illnesses that have afflicted their families, while others tell of the witches' alleged gatherings, of the strange rituals and incantations that have taken place under the light of the full moon. As the sun begins to set, casting a golden glow over the castle, the trial reaches its climax. The judge, Sir Edward Bromley, surveys the evidence before him, his face a mask of stern determination. The accused witches, their faces etched with worry and fear, wait with bated breath as the verdict is pronounced. The air is heavy with anticipation, the silence in the court oppressive, as the fate of the Pendle Witches hangs precariously in the balance. In the end, it is not the evidence that condemns the witches, but the fear and superstition that surrounds them. The trial is a product of its time, a reflection of the deep-seated prejudices and misconceptions that have haunted the region for generations. As the verdict is delivered, the accused witches are found guilty, their fate all but sealed. The court erupts into a mixture of cheers and tears, the atmosphere a heady mix of relief and condemnation. The Pendle Witches, their lives forever changed by the events of that fateful summer, stand at the threshold of a terrible fate, one that will haunt the region for generations to come. As we leave the castle, the setting sun casting long shadows across the grounds, we cannot help but feel a sense of sadness and regret. The trial of the Pendle Witches is a powerful reminder of the dangers of fear and superstition, of the devastating consequences that can arise when we allow our deepest prejudices to guide our actions. The witches, their lives lost to the annals of history, stand as a testament to the enduring power of myth and legend, their story a haunting reminder of the dark and troubled times in which they lived. As the darkness gathers, the castle's stone walls bearing witness to the events of that fateful summer, we are left to ponder the lessons of the past, and the terrible price that was paid by the Pendle Witches. As the first light of dawn crept over the rooftops of Lancaster, a sense of foreboding settled over the town. The air was crisp and cool, carrying the scent of damp stone and wood smoke, a reminder that summer was gradually giving way to autumn. In the streets, people stirred, their footsteps echoing off the walls as they made their way to the marketplace. It was a cold August morning in 1612, and the town was about to witness a somber and tragic event, one that would be etched in the memories of its inhabitants for generations to come. 10 of the accused witches, those who had been found guilty of practicing the dark arts, were to be led to the gallows, where they would meet their maker. The executions, a grim culmination of the trial that had taken place at Lancaster Castle, were to be carried out in the very heart of the town. As the crowd began to gather, a hush fell over the marketplace, punctuated only by the sound of murmured conversations and the creaking of the wooden gallows. The atmosphere was heavy with tension, the sense of anticipation palpable. People had come from all over the surrounding countryside to witness the spectacle, their faces a mixture of curiosity and morbid fascination. Some had brought their children, who clung to their parents' hands, wide-eyed and silent, as they watched the scene unfold. The town's residents, many of whom had known the accused women, stood in solemn silence, their faces etched with a mix of sorrow and dread. As the morning wore on, the sun rose higher in the sky, casting long shadows across the cobblestones. The gallows, a stark and ominous presence, stood at the center of the marketplace, its wooden beams weathered to a soft gray. The hangman, a somber figure in a long, black coat, stood beside the gallows, his eyes fixed on the crowd as he waited for the signal to begin the proceedings. The first of the accused to be led to the gallows was Elizabeth Southerns, the elderly matriarch of the Demdike family. Her eyes, once bright and full of life, now seemed sunken and dull, her face etched with the lines of age and hardship. As she climbed the steps to the gallows, her movements were slow and deliberate, her hands bound behind her back. The crowd watched in silence as she reached the top of the gallows, her eyes scanning the sea of faces below her. The executioner, his face a mask of solemnity, placed the noose around her neck, the rope coarse and rough against her skin. Elizabeth's eyes closed, her lips moving in silent prayer as the hangman tightened the rope. The crowd held its collective breath, the only sound the creaking of the gallows and the distant call of a bird. And then, in an instant, it was over. The rope jerked taut, and Elizabeth's body swung in the air, her life slipping away with each passing moment. The same grim ritual was repeated 9 times, each of the accused witches meeting their end in a solemn and tragic procession. There was Jane Southworth, the young woman who had been accused of murdering her brother-in-law, her eyes wide with fear as she climbed the steps to the gallows. There was Janet Brearley, the elderly woman who had been accused of casting spells on her neighbors, her face set in a stern expression as she met her end. And there was Alice Nutter, the wealthy widow who had been accused of attending witches' meetings, her eyes flashing with anger and defiance as she stood on the gallows. As the last of the witches took her final breath, the crowd that had gathered to watch the spectacle could not have known that they were witnessing a moment that would go down in history as one of the darkest chapters in England's witch-hunting past. The executions, a grim reminder of the fears and superstitions that had gripped the nation, marked the end of an era for the community. The Pendle Witches, those accused of practicing the dark arts, were no more, their lives cut short in a brutal and tragic manner. As the crowd began to disperse, the town of Lancaster was left to ponder the events that had unfolded before their eyes. The executions, a somber and tragic affair, had brought a sense of closure to the community, but they had also left behind a legacy of sorrow and regret. The memory of the Pendle Witches, those accused of practicing the dark arts, would haunt the town for generations to come, a reminder of the dangers of fear, superstition, and the unchecked power of the law. In the days and weeks that followed, the town of Lancaster slowly returned to a sense of normality. The trials and executions, a dramatic and disturbing episode in the town's history, became a distant memory, a reminder of the darkness that had once gripped the nation. But the legacy of the Pendle Witches lived on, a testament to the enduring power of myth and legend. The story of the Pendle Witches, those accused of practicing the dark arts, would continue to captivate and haunt the imagination of people for centuries to come, a reminder of the dangers of fear, superstition, and the importance of upholding justice and compassion in the face of uncertainty and doubt. As the sun began to set on Lancaster, casting a golden glow over the town, the memory of the Pendle Witches seemed to fade into the background, a reminder of a darker, more troubled time. But the story of their lives, their struggles, and their ultimate demise, would never truly be forgotten, a testament to the enduring power of history and the human spirit. The Pendle Witches, those accused of practicing the dark arts, may have been silenced, but their memory would live on, a reminder of the importance of justice, compassion, and the need to confront the darkness that lies within us all. As the years have slowly unfolded since the trial and execution of the Pendle Witches, their story has become an integral part of the rich tapestry that is Lancashire's history, a haunting reminder of the devastating consequences of fear, superstition, and misguided zeal. The rolling hills and verdant valleys of Pendle, once a place of stark beauty and quiet innocence, have become forever linked with the dark and troubled tale of the witches who lived and died there. The wind that whips across the moors, carrying the scent of heather and damp earth, whispers secrets of a bygone era, of a time when the boundaries between reality and myth were blurred, and the fate of those accused of witchcraft was all but sealed. In the centuries that have passed, the legend of the Pendle Witches has evolved, taking on a life of its own, as local folklore and oral tradition have woven a complex and often contradictory narrative around the lives and deaths of these unfortunate women. Their story has been told and retold, sometimes with accuracy, sometimes with embellishment, but always with a sense of awe and fascination that has captivated the imagination of generations. The Pendle Witches have become an enduring part of the regional psyche, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked power, the importance of compassion, and the need for understanding in a world often shrouded in darkness and uncertainty. Today, as we look back on the events that unfolded in the summer of 1612, we are reminded of the profound impact that the trial and execution of the Pendle Witches had on the community, and the lasting legacy that they have left behind. The town of Lancaster, with its imposing castle and bustling market square, has long since moved on from the tumultuous events of that fateful year, but the memory of the witches remains, a poignant reminder of the transience of human life and the enduring power of myth and legend. The castle, once the seat of justice and the symbol of authority, now stands as a testament to the enduring legacy of the Pendle Witches, a reminder of the dark and troubled past that has shaped the course of history. As we delve deeper into the world of the Pendle Witches, we find ourselves immersed in a realm of mystery and intrigue, where the lines between reality and fantasy are constantly blurred. The story of the witches is a complex and multifaceted one, full of twists and turns, of unexpected revelations and surprising contradictions. It is a tale of darkness and light, of fear and superstition, but also of hope and resilience, of the human spirit's ability to persevere in the face of adversity. The Pendle Witches, those unfortunate women who were accused, tried, and executed for their supposed crimes, have become an integral part of our collective imagination, a symbol of the enduring power of myth and legend to shape our understanding of the past. The landscape of Pendle, with its wild and windswept moors, its verdant valleys and sparkling streams, has played a significant role in shaping the legend of the witches. This is a place of stark beauty, where the elements are never far away, and the forces of nature are always in evidence. The moors, with their rugged terrain and treacherous bogs, have long been a place of mystery and wonder, a realm of magic and enchantment, where the boundaries between reality and fantasy are constantly blurred. It is here, in this wild and atmospheric landscape, that the Pendle Witches are said to have practiced their craft, weaving spells and incantations, as they danced and feasted under the light of the full moon. As the seasons pass, and the years go by, the legend of the Pendle Witches continues to evolve, taking on new forms and guises, as the imagination of each successive generation is sparked by the tale of these unfortunate women. The story of the witches has been told and retold, in countless different ways, each version adding its own unique twist and perspective to the narrative. From the early accounts of the trial, with their emphasis on the supposed crimes of the witches, to the later, more romanticized versions, which stress the tragedy and pathos of their story, the legend of the Pendle Witches has become a rich and complex tapestry, woven from countless different threads. In the centuries that have passed since the execution of the Pendle Witches, their story has become an integral part of the regional folklore, a cautionary tale about the dangers of fear, superstition, and misguided zeal. The witches, those unfortunate women who were accused, tried, and executed for their supposed crimes, have become a symbol of the enduring power of myth and legend to shape our understanding of the past. Their story, with its themes of darkness and light, of fear and superstition, but also of hope and resilience, continues to captivate the imagination of audiences around the world, a reminder of the importance of compassion, understanding, and empathy in a world often shrouded in darkness and uncertainty. As we reflect on the legacy of the Pendle Witches, we are reminded of the profound impact that their story has had on our collective imagination, and the lasting influence that it continues to exert on our understanding of the past. The witches, those unfortunate women who were accused, tried, and executed for their supposed crimes, have become an integral part of our shared cultural heritage, a symbol of the enduring power of myth and legend to shape our understanding of the world. Their story, with its themes of darkness and light, of fear and superstition, but also of hope and resilience, continues to inspire and captivate audiences around the world, a reminder of the importance of compassion, understanding, and empathy in a world often shrouded in darkness and uncertainty. In the stillness of the night, as the wind whispers through the trees, and the stars twinkle like diamonds in the sky, we are reminded of the Pendle Witches, those unfortunate women who were accused, tried, and executed for their supposed crimes. Their story, with its themes of darkness and light, of fear and superstition, but also of hope and resilience, continues to captivate the imagination of audiences around the world, a reminder of the enduring power of myth and legend to shape our understanding of the past. As we look back on the events that unfolded in the summer of 1612, we are struck by the profound impact that the trial and execution of the Pendle Witches had on the community, and the lasting legacy that they have left behind. The Pendle Witches, those unfortunate women who were accused, tried, and executed for their supposed crimes, have become an integral part of our collective imagination, a symbol of the enduring power of myth and legend to shape our understanding of the world. The years have passed, and the centuries have gone by, but the legend of the Pendle Witches remains, a haunting reminder of the devastating consequences of fear, superstition, and misguided zeal. The story of the witches, with its themes of darkness and light, of fear and superstition, but also of hope and resilience, continues to inspire and captivate audiences around the world, a reminder of the importance of compassion, understanding, and empathy in a world often shrouded in darkness and uncertainty. As we reflect on the legacy of the Pendle Witches, we are reminded of the profound impact that their story has had on our collective imagination, and the lasting influence that it continues to exert on our understanding of the past. The Pendle Witches, those unfortunate women who were accused, tried, and executed for their supposed crimes, have become an integral part of our shared cultural heritage, a symbol of the enduring power of myth and legend to shape our understanding of the world. In the end, it is the story of the Pendle Witches that remains, a testament to the enduring power of myth and legend to shape our understanding of the past. The witches, those unfortunate women who were accused, tried, and executed for their supposed crimes, have become a symbol of the human spirit's ability to persevere in the face of adversity, a reminder of the importance of compassion, understanding, and empathy in a world often shrouded in darkness and uncertainty. As we look back on the events that unfolded in the summer of 1612, we are struck by the profound impact that the trial and execution of the Pendle Witches had on the community, and the lasting legacy that they have left behind. The Pendle Witches, those unfortunate women who were accused, tried, and executed for their supposed crimes, have become an integral part of our collective imagination, a symbol of the enduring power of myth and legend to shape our understanding of the world. As the misty veil of dawn lifts over the Pendle Hills, the crumbling silhouette of Malkin Tower emerges from the shadows, its ruined grandeur a testament to the passing of time. This forsaken place, once the supposed lair of the notorious Elizabeth Demdike, has stood for centuries, an imposing presence on the wild and windswept moors. The local legend has it that within these weathered walls, the matriarch of the Demdike family would convene with her cohorts, weaving a web of dark magic that would ensnare the innocent and instill fear in the hearts of all who dwelled in the surrounding villages. As we wander through the heather and gorse that surrounds the tower, the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers fills the air, and the soft rustle of small creatures through the undergrowth provides a soothing background melody. The landscape itself seems to whisper secrets, the gentle breeze carrying the whispers of the past on its breath. It is here, amidst this eerie beauty, that we find ourselves drawn into the mystical world of the Pendle Witches, a realm of mystery and intrigue that has captivated the imagination of generations. The Demdike family, it is said, were a clan of cunning women, adept in the dark arts and feared by all who knew of their supposed powers. Elizabeth, the matriarch, was a woman of considerable cunning and wisdom, known to have lived a long and eventful life, marked by hardship, poverty, and a deep understanding of the natural world. Her home, Malkin Tower, was a humble abode, a simple farmhouse that had been in the family for generations, its stone walls bearing witness to the trials and tribulations of those who dwelled within. As we approach the tower, the sound of scurrying creatures and the creaking of ancient wooden beams fills the air, transporting us to a bygone era, a time when the boundaries between reality and myth were blurred. The wind, as it whips across the moors, howls through the empty windows, its mournful cry echoing through the desolate landscape like the lamentations of the damned. It is as if the very spirits of the past are stirring, awakened by our presence, and warning us to tread carefully, lest we disturb the secrets that lie within. The history of Malkin Tower is shrouded in mystery, and the truth behind the claims of dark magic and witchcraft is impossible to verify. Yet, as we stand before this ancient monument, we cannot help but feel a sense of awe and reverence for the women who once dwelled within its walls. The Demdike family, though reviled and feared by their contemporaries, were, in reality, a family of poor and marginalized women, struggling to survive in a world that often seemed determined to crush them. Their story, as it has been passed down through the generations, is one of hardship and resilience, of women who, in the face of poverty and persecution, turned to the natural world for solace and comfort. The wild moors, with their abundant flora and fauna, provided a bountiful source of food, medicine, and inspiration, and it was here, amidst the heather and the gorse, that the Demdikes would often gather, sharing stories, secrets, and wisdom. As the sun reaches its zenith, casting a pale glow over the landscape, the shadows that dance across the walls of Malkin Tower seem to take on a life of their own. The wind, as it stirs the heather, whispers secrets in our ear, and we are drawn into the mystical world of the Pendle Witches, a realm of ancient magic and forgotten lore. It is as if the very fabric of time has been woven into the stone walls of the tower, and we, as we stand before this crumbling ruin, are but mere threads in the intricate tapestry of history. The air is filled with the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers, and the gentle hum of insects provides a soothing background melody, as we ponder the mysteries of the past. The Demdike family, though their lives were marked by hardship and tragedy, left behind a legacy that continues to captivate and inspire us to this day. Their story, as it has been passed down through the generations, is a testament to the power of the human spirit, a spirit that, even in the face of adversity, can find solace and comfort in the natural world. As the sun begins to set, casting a golden glow over the landscape, the shadows that dance across the walls of Malkin Tower seem to grow longer and darker, as if the very spirits of the past are stirring, awakened by our presence. The wind, as it whips across the moors, howls through the empty windows, its mournful cry echoing through the desolate landscape, a haunting reminder of the secrets that lie within. And as we stand before this crumbling ruin, we are drawn into the mystical world of the Pendle Witches, a realm of ancient magic and forgotten lore, where the boundaries between reality and myth are blurred, and the past and present converge. In the fading light of day, as the stars begin to twinkle in the night sky, the tower seems to take on a life of its own, its crumbling walls a testament to the passing of time. The wind, as it stirs the heather, whispers secrets in our ear, and we are left to ponder the mysteries of the past, and the secrets that lie within the crumbling walls of Malkin Tower. The Demdike family, though their lives were marked by hardship and tragedy, left behind a legacy that continues to captivate and inspire us to this day, a testament to the power of the human spirit, and the enduring allure of the mystical world of the Pendle Witches. As the misty dawn breaks over the Pendle Hills, a sense of mystique and wonder settles over the landscape. The rolling hills, once home to the infamous Pendle Witches, now beckon to a new generation of spiritual seekers. In recent years, the area has experienced a resurgence in popularity, with many modern-day witches and pagans drawn to the rich history and mystical energy that permeates the air. These contemporary practitioners of the craft see the Pendle Witches as forebears, women who lived and died for their beliefs, and whose legacy continues to inspire and empower. As we wander through the picturesque villages and towns that dot the hills, we catch glimpses of a thriving community of modern witches, each with their own unique story and connection to the past. They gather in hidden glades and secluded valleys, their candles and lanterns flickering like fireflies in the fading light of day. The sound of soft chanting and gentle laughter carries on the breeze, mingling with the scent of burning sage and sandalwood. It is as if the very spirit of the Pendle Witches lives on, a testament to the enduring power of faith and conviction. One cannot help but feel a sense of awe and reverence as we delve deeper into the world of these modern-day witches. Theirs is a path that weaves together threads of ancient wisdom, folklore, and mythology, with a deep connection to the land and its history. They speak of the Pendle Witches with a sense of reverence and admiration, seeing in them a reflection of their own struggles and triumphs. The stories of Alison Device, Elizabeth Southerns, and the other women who were accused and executed for witchcraft are told and retold, each one a reminder of the courage and resilience that defined their lives. As we explore the modern-day witches' connection to the past, we begin to see the story of the Pendle Witches in a new and fascinating light. The harsh realities of life in 17th-century Lancashire, the poverty, the superstition, and the fear, all take on a deeper significance. The Pendle Witches were not simply victims of a paranoid and unforgiving society, but women who lived and breathed the rhythms of the natural world. They were attuned to the cycles of the moon, the seasons, and the land, and it was this deep connection to the earth that ultimately led to their downfall. The modern-day witches who are drawn to the Pendle Hills are often seeking a similar connection to the land and its history. They come to the area with a sense of pilgrimage, seeking to walk in the footsteps of their forebears and to tap into the mystical energy that permeates the landscape. They visit the crumbling ruins of Malkin Tower, the former home of the Demdike family, and pay their respects to the memory of the women who lived and died there. They wander through the atmospheric villages, taking in the sights and sounds of a bygone era, and seeking to recapture the essence of a long-lost way of life. As the sun sets over the Pendle Hills, casting a golden glow over the landscape, the modern-day witches gather to celebrate the beauty and magic of the natural world. They light bonfires and candles, and sing songs that echo through the valleys and hills. The sound of their laughter and music carries on the breeze, mingling with the scent of wood smoke and wild flowers. It is a truly enchanting scene, one that speaks to the deep connection that these women have with the land and its history. In many ways, the modern-day witches who are drawn to the Pendle Hills are seeking to recreate a sense of community and connection that has been lost in the modern world. They are seeking a deeper sense of meaning and purpose, one that is rooted in the natural world and the rhythms of the earth. As they gather to celebrate the full moon, or to mark the passing of the seasons, they are reminded of the beauty and wonder of the world around them. They are reminded of the magic that lies just beneath the surface of everyday life, waiting to be tapped into and celebrated. As we watch the modern-day witches at work, we are struck by the sense of continuity that exists between their lives and those of the Pendle Witches. Despite the passage of time, and the many changes that have taken place in the world, the fundamental human desire for connection and meaning remains the same. The Pendle Witches were women who lived and died for their beliefs, and whose legacy continues to inspire and empower. They were women who were deeply connected to the land and its history, and who drew strength and inspiration from the natural world. As the night wears on, and the stars twinkle to life in the sky above, the modern-day witches disperse, each one carrying a sense of peace and wonder back into their everyday lives. They are women who are deeply rooted in the present, yet who are also connected to the past and its many mysteries. They are women who are seeking to reclaim a sense of magic and wonder in their lives, and to celebrate the beauty and mystery of the world around them. And as we watch them go, we are reminded of the enduring power of the Pendle Witches, and the legacy that they have left behind. The story of the Pendle Witches is one that continues to captivate and inspire, a testament to the enduring power of faith and conviction. It is a story that speaks to the deep connection that exists between the human experience and the natural world, and reminds us of the beauty and magic that lies just beneath the surface of everyday life. As we reflect on the lives and experiences of the Pendle Witches, we are reminded of the importance of staying true to oneself, and of following one's own path in life. We are reminded of the value of community and connection, and of the need to respect and honor the natural world. In the end, the story of the Pendle Witches is one that will continue to inspire and captivate, a reminder of the enduring power of the human spirit. It is a story that will continue to be told and retold, a testament to the legacy of the women who lived and died in the Pendle Hills. And as we close our eyes, and let the misty dawn break over the hills once more, we are reminded of the magic and wonder that lies just beyond the edge of everyday life, waiting to be discovered and celebrated. As our journey through the story of the Pendle Witches comes to a close, we are left to ponder the enduring mystique of this dark and troubled era. The Pendle Witches' tale is a complex and multifaceted one, full of twists and turns that continue to captivate and intrigue us to this day. As the mist-shrouded moors reclaim their secrets, we are reminded that the past is always with us, its lessons and stories waiting to be uncovered and retold for generations to come. In the fading light of day, as the sun sets over the rolling hills of Lancashire, the atmosphere is one of contemplation and reflection. The trees, bare and skeletal, stand like sentinels, guarding the secrets of a bygone age. The wind whispers through the valleys, a soft and mournful sigh that seems to carry the whispers of the past. It is as if the very landscape itself is alive, and is reminding us of the events that shaped the lives of the Pendle Witches. As we have seen, the story of the Pendle Witches is one of tragedy and hardship, of a community torn apart by fear and superstition. The events that unfolded in the early 17th century were marked by a darkness and a sense of foreboding that seems to seep from the very pores of the landscape. And yet, despite the passing of centuries, the legacy of the Pendle Witches remains, a testament to the enduring power of myth and legend. In our previous explorations, we have delved into the legacy of the Pendle Witches, and seen how their story has been retold and reinterpreted over the centuries. We have visited the crumbling ruins of Malkin Tower, that infamous stronghold of the Demdike family, and imagined the scenes of laughter and tears, of joy and despair, that once played out within its walls. We have also encountered the modern-day Pendle Witches, who continue to draw inspiration from the myths and legends of old, and who seek to keep the spirit of the past alive in their own unique way. As we reflect on the story of the Pendle Witches, it is clear that their tale is one that continues to captivate and intrigue us. It is a story that speaks to something deep within us, a sense of wonder and awe that is inspired by the mysteries of the past. And it is a story that reminds us of the importance of understanding and empathy, of the need to approach the past with a sense of compassion and sensitivity. As the night deepens, and the stars begin to twinkle in the sky, the atmosphere becomes even more contemplative. The world is bathed in a soft, lunar light, and the shadows seem to grow longer and more sinister. It is as if the very fabric of reality is thinning, allowing us to glimpse the outlines of a world that lies just beyond our own. And in this world, the Pendle Witches come alive, their spirits stirring in the darkness like leaves rustling in the wind. In this moment, we are reminded of the power of storytelling, and the way in which it can transport us to another time and place. The story of the Pendle Witches is a reminder that the past is never truly past, but is always with us, shaping and informing our present. It is a reminder that the lessons of history are always relevant, and that the stories of old can continue to inspire and educate us, even in the modern era. As we sit in the silence, surrounded by the shadows of the night, we are invited to reflect on our own place within the grand narrative of history. We are part of a long line of storytellers, each one passing on the tales of old to a new generation. And as we listen to the whispers of the past, we are reminded of the importance of preserving and honoring the stories that have come before us. The Pendle Witches' tale is a complex and multifaceted one, full of twists and turns that continue to captivate and intrigue us. It is a story that speaks to the darkest aspects of human nature, and yet also to the deepest and most profound. It is a story that reminds us of the dangers of fear and superstition, and of the importance of understanding and empathy. And it is a story that continues to inspire and educate us, even in the modern era. As the night wears on, and the darkness deepens, we are left to ponder the enduring mystique of the Pendle Witches. Their story is a reminder that the past is always with us, its lessons and stories waiting to be uncovered and retold for generations to come. And as we drift off into the darkness, surrounded by the shadows of the night, we are left to wonder what other secrets the past holds, and what other stories remain to be told. In the stillness of the night, the world is full of mystery and wonder. The stars twinkle like diamonds in the sky, and the moon casts a silver glow over the landscape. It is a time for reflection and contemplation, a time to let the mind wander and the imagination soar. And as we sit in the silence, surrounded by the shadows of the night, we are reminded of the power of storytelling, and the way in which it can transport us to another time and place. The story of the Pendle Witches is a reminder that the past is never truly past, but is always with us, shaping and informing our present. It is a reminder that the lessons of history are always relevant, and that the stories of old can continue to inspire and educate us, even in the modern era. And as we listen to the whispers of the past, we are reminded of the importance of preserving and honoring the stories that have come before us. As the darkness slowly begins to recede, and the first light of dawn creeps over the horizon, we are left to ponder the enduring legacy of the Pendle Witches. Their story is a complex and multifaceted one, full of twists and turns that continue to captivate and intrigue us. It is a story that speaks to the darkest aspects of human nature, and yet also to the deepest and most profound. And it is a story that continues to inspire and educate us, even in the modern era. In the end, the story of the Pendle Witches is a reminder that the past is always with us, its lessons and stories waiting to be uncovered and retold for generations to come. It is a reminder that the power of storytelling can transport us to another time and place, and that the stories of old can continue to inspire and educate us, even in the modern era. And as we emerge from the darkness, and step into the light of a new day, we are left to wonder what other secrets the past holds, and what other stories remain to be told.